Okay, so we talked quite a bit about the sides of triangles being proportionate to each other. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how the other parts of similar triangles work out.
Like what?
Well, good question. So let's take a triangle. I don't want that triangle. Let's take a triangle. And let's make a triangle that is similar to that by taking that same triangle and let's make it bigger. Okay? So what I have there are two similar triangles. Why? Because I said so. Okay? How long do you think this side should be over here? 4. How long would you like this side to be over here? 8.
16.
All right, let's keep it simple. So all of the sides on this triangle are twice as big as the sides of that triangle, right? That's what we've been learning. Okay, so what we're talking about today, like I said, is how the other parts of the triangle match up. And Alyssa says, like what? What other parts? Well, what other parts of a triangle are there besides its sides that we can make? The angles. We already talked about the angles, they're congruent. They're not drawn on there, but we're going to draw them. What? The altitudes. Okay. So let's talk about the altitude. So let me say, what is an altitude? The height. So if I go from the top of this triangle.
No, middle. No. No. Keep going.
If I measure, here, you want me to rotate it a little bit or something so that it's better oriented?
Yeah.
You want something on the bottom, is that good?
Yes.
And how about that?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to that. So let's say that I wanted to measure the height of this triangle right here. And you can see it's very close to being one of the sides, but it isn't exactly one of the sides. How do you think the height or the altitude of that triangle would compare with the altitude of this one? It'd be the half, right? Since the sides are all half as big, that means the altitude is half as big also. Okay? So yes, that's true. What other things can we draw on triangles? No, not the DJ. Not the drill team. What else? What other things do triangles have? Well, we already talked about the angles are all congruent. The what? The angle bisector. Okay, so she's looking in the book and found another one. The angle bisector. So, in other words, if I take this top angle, or any of the angles really for that matter, and cut it in half, does that look like half? There? Okay, and drop that down to the side there. If I do the same thing with this over here, what do you think is true about those two angle bisectors? They're in the same proportion or ratio as the sides. Okay? And then there's one more. So we did the altitudes, we did the angle bisector. What's the other one? The what? The mid-segment? Yep. Actually, I wasn't thinking about that one, but that would be one also. I believe I can do the same thing with the mid-segment. What's the mid-segment of a triangle? I have to go halfway in between two sides, right? So if that's the mid-segment, what's true about these two segments right here?
They're the same ratio.
Nope. I mean, yes, but what's true more specifically about if that's the mid-segment? They're the same, yeah. I cut this side in half, and I cut that side in half. Okay? So yes, if I do the same thing over here, what do you think is going to be true about the ratio of the mid-segments?
Way off.
Half?
Right, same ratio as the sides, okay? So we don't really need to spend a ton of time on this. What's the last one?
What is it?
Starts with an M.
Median.
Median, nice job. So median is a little different from the mid-segment in that where the median comes from is I'm going to take this side and find the midpoint, and then what do I do with that point?
Oh, you go in the middle of the top one?
Then I go to the top one right here, okay? So the bottom line is what you expect it to be true already is true. Angle bisector, median, all those things are in the same proportion that you would think that they would be, okay?
Really? Clear down.
Okay.
You're not recognizing that. I can't do that. Have you been watching stuff?
Yeah, I watched last night. Boss. It's like all about wood.
It's all about food.
It's all about wood. It's all about. It's like
It's like the 4 things.